Presenting your Heisman Memorial Trophy finalists. E.J. Smith, running back, Texas A&M University. Quin Allen, running back, Syracuse University. Jackson Dart, quarterback, University of Mississippi. Caleb Jackson, running back, Louisiana State University. Ashton Jonathan, running back, Boise State University. These are your Heisman Trophy finalists. Before presenting the winner of this year's Heisman Memorial Trophy, it is my honor to present to you the first team All-Americans. At quarterback, Will Howard, senior, Ohio State. At halfback, Marquez Hunter, senior, Auburn. And Devin Neal, senior, Kansas. At wide receiver, Ofele Ashlock, sophomore, Hawaii. And Caleb Brown, sophomore, Iowa. At tight end, Connor Cox, freshman, South Carolina. At left guard, Connor Colby, senior, Iowa. And Jeremiah Wright, senior, Auburn. At center, Bryce Foster, junior, Texas A&M. At right tackle, Josh Fryer, senior, Ohio State. And Sitoa Lomea, senior, Utah. At right end, CJ Bazile Jr., junior, Liberty. And Tyson Ford, sophomore, Notre Dame. At defensive tackle, Ty Hamilton, senior, Ohio State. And Keontae Hamilton, senior, Rutgers. At middle linebacker, Kobe King, junior, Penn State. At outside linebacker, Kareen Reed, senior, Utah. And Curtis Jacobs, senior, Penn State. At corner, Dominic Hill, junior, Liberty. And Mello Dotson, senior, Kansas. At free safety, Jaden Mangum, junior, Michigan State. At strong safety, Xavier Wongpa, junior, Iowa. At kicker, Jaden Fielding, junior, Ohio State. At punter, Peter Moore, senior, Virginia Tech. And at returner, Jaden Doughton, junior, Toledo. These are your first team All-Americans. Now let's take a closer look at the Heisman candidates.
Looking at the stats, it's easy to see why E.J. Smith is the favorite to win the Heisman.
Yeah, 1,300 yards on the ground is 6.2 yards per carry, alongside over 300 yards receiving and 20 total touchdowns.
The senior certainly has the stats to back up his popularity.
Indeed. Let's take a look at some of Smith's highlights.
Let me start by saying he's extremely underrated as a receiving back downfield.
His ability to find holes in coverage is second to none, plus his ability to break tackles for extra yards after the catch really sets him apart.
What's also worth noting is the man's strength. He told us in the preseason that he'd hit the weight room hard between last season and now, and he wasn't joking.
You may be able to hit him in the backfield, but he'll power through you to make what should have been a loss of yards a gain. This makes him nearly impossible to stop on short yard and goal line situations.
Look, he's the favorite to win for a good reason, and I think we're seeing it.
Now, Quin Allen's got some competitive stats of his own.
You've got that right. He racked up nearly 1,400 rushing yards this year, along with 300 yards in the air and 16 total touchdowns.
Right, now let's take a look at Allen's highlights.
He may just be the most elusive back in the nation.
I tell you what, man, the way he moves his feet and sells his fakes is absolutely unmatched in college football.
Don't think he's just an elusive back that goes down on first contact either. He's deceptively strong and has broken more than a few tackles during this season's campaign.
He may be a dark horse to win, but nobody should be surprised if he walks away with the trophy tonight.
Now to the lone QB to make the final cut, Jackson Dart.
Now, he had himself quite the senior campaign, throwing for north of 3,500 yards and running for another 300, accounting for 32 total touchdowns.
And I'm surprised his rushing totals aren't higher, given how good he is with his legs.
No kidding, he's quite the runner. Let's see some of his highlights.
Let's talk about his throwing style. He has one of the fastest releases in recent memory, in my opinion, and has an absolute cannon of an arm to back it up.
Now, it goes without saying, but he is the best dual threat we've seen in years.
He routinely makes positive plays out of nothing and is one of the best at reading the option that we've ever seen.
Moving on to Caleb Jackson, he may only be a freshman, but he's already the best power back in the country, bar none.
I absolutely agree. He racked up almost 1,700 yards on the ground and another 200 through the air for 14 total touchdowns this year.
Yeah, those are some pretty impressive numbers, to say the least.
Taking a look at his highlights, you can see why we'd say he's the best power back in the country.
For sure, he runs through defenders like they're pylons. It's honestly unbelievable.
It really is unbelievable, but he is also deceptively good at catching the ball too. He has an innate ability to find separation in coverage, and I think that's what makes him awesome.
Yeah, and combine that with this ability to break tackles, and you're looking at an absolute home run threat nearly every play.
On to our final candidate, Ashton Jonathan.
Junty ran for nearly 1,300 yards, plus another 300 receiving yards, with 18 total touchdowns to boot.
With the kind of year that he had, I honestly would be shocked if the junior didn't make the jump to the pros.
Yeah, now don't blink during these highlights. Genty may be the fastest back in the nation.
The phrase speed kills comes to mind.
Yeah, you blink and the kid's already 30 yards downfield. It's almost believable. Elite speed from Genty.
Absolutely. Add that to his fearless approach on taking hits, and you have got a serious problem to deal with.
A serious problem to deal with indeed, and I think one that will persist into Sundays in the future.
Now for the winners of the Doak Walker, the Maxwell, and the Walter Camp Awards.
Bringing home all 3 awards this year is the senior running back out of Auburn, Marquez Hunter.
He truly had a season for the ages. You look at him running for 2,076 yards receiving, another 426, and racking up a total of 31 touchdowns. Elite season.
Yes, sir, absolutely. What a truly historic season indeed.
Agreed. Now let's take a look at some of Hunter's highlights before we move on to the winner of the Heisman Memorial Trophy. Presenting the winner of this year's Heisman Memorial Trophy, E.J. Smith, running back, Texas A&M University. That's it from this year's awards ceremony. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you at the National Championship game.